What's up, guys? Adventures with Maxwell here, and today we are going to go through some 1994 Denver and Philly Mint Mark quarters that I found recently and some coin rolls from my local credit union. Now, these are all in fairly good condition, almost uncirculated. Some I would even say BU. Uh, I've got some of them separated. I probably have about a full roll that I found. So give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, I have them all separated out here into Denver and Philly. I also have my camera set up. I'll switch it over to take pictures. I have my scale, my coffee, and let's go. So we're going to do the P Mint marks first. And like I said, I'm new to this still. Um, so please leave, in the comments down there what you think. Oh, it might help if I adjust here. And in the, I looked it up on Variety Vista. There's not any errors listed as far as doubling on Variety Vista. It doesn't mean that there are not doubling, um, but you can find interesting things. There is the possibility for doubling on the mint marks. Um, Philadelphia did not. I should say they punched a lot of them, but not in quite as good of condition as the Denver. Um, so basically, if we find doubling, or even if we find any weird things like die chips, die cracks, you know, your basic stuff that you normally find, um, people still like those. And so I do, not everyone does, but I do keep them out. Um, I'm even pretty sure that old Rob over at Rob Finds Treasures, he's probably getting a little tired of me shooting him pictures of pennies because I find weird stuff and I'm not for sure. But hey, it never hurts to ask. And if it is, you learn something new, right? So, not much going on here. Um, Again, we're going to look at the condition. We're going to weigh them. Should be about 5.7 grams. And there are some nice ones in here. There are some really nice ones. Um, and these are all Denver. Now, what we're looking for on these is when you come across quarters for this year that are this nice, you want to look for higher grades. If my memory serves me, I watched a couple videos um, on JB's coins, um, and a 64. If you find them in the higher mint state ranges, they can go for hundreds. In the Denvers, excuse me, in the Phillies, um, the Denvers not quite as much, but the Phillies, if you can find them, because they were struck in not that great of condition to begin with, uh, they can fetch upwards of $800 in like an LMS 65, LMS 66, a 63. 63 is a couple $100, which for a quarter is great. If you can find one in that condition with an error that may not be attributed, maybe they'll attribute it. I doubt it. It is PCGS, but um, see that may be doubling. That may be a double mint mark right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit OK. Bam. Take a picture of it. Now this one's not in that great a shape. You'd probably get XF, which might make it $10. But even if you're just sticking it on eBay and selling it to somebody with that, if that is a double mint mark, it might raise the price, $5 or something. You might get 15 for it. And I don't know like all the particulars of it. So if I'm wrong, leave a comment. I'm never going to turn away criticism because I don't know. And I'm still trying to learn, you know, machine doubling, poor man's doubling, because there are some errors out there with actual doubling that look like machine doubling, but it's not. And this one doesn't have anything special. I don't see any die chips. It has some wear on it. So we'll just stick that over there. We'll go to the next one. I want to say 900 and something million was printed, was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. See, there's some machine doubling. You check the ears, in the hair, like on some of your newer quarters, they have die chips in the hair, might add a couple bucks, but I'm not seeing anything on the obverse. And I know I should be wearing gloves because there are some nice ones in there. See, now this, to me, I used to always think was doubling, but that is machine doubling. But there are some coins in the smaller denominations that have that doubling, that is actual doubling, not machine doubling. Are you tired of me saying doubling? And I'm not seeing anything particular on this. Let's keep going. And I will be having a live stream coming up. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding $half boxes down here. So what I'll probably end up doing is just, doing some live streams with some, nickels and pennies. I don't want to bore you to death with dimes. I've searched a lot of dimes since I started doing coin roll hunting, and my eyes get tired really fast. So not anything particularly. This is a nicer coin. But I mean, at the end of the video here, we'll take a look at PCGS. There's not many, 15 I think that are struck or that are graded in like an MS 65 or better. A lot. I mean, the choice is really up to whoever gets it. If you want to spend the money to take a chance. I mean, there's value regardless in a nicer condition 94 quarter because there were so many of them minted and it's over 20 years. But to come across this many, and let me tell you what my credit union, I'm gonna put that one to the side because that's a little nicer. That's a little nicer. Um, so is this one. My credit union um, has a coin machine, and you take all your loose change in there, you dump it in there, and it goes straight to your checking account. And then, at the end of the day, every couple of days, however they do it, uh, they will roll them up. Not all of the coin rolls that they have say their name on there, but there's, I think the pennies and the nickels have their name on them. So I'm pretty sure they roll them all up themselves right out of the machine. They're not your standard, mint mark or mint wrappers, if you will. Um, and also, you're looking for die chips. Like I said before, die cracks. I found a 1994 that's not in anywhere nice the shape as these, but it has a pretty nice little die crack. A couple of them on there. Um, I can show you. It's just that one there. Let me see. So I found this one a few days ago, and it's a 1994P. Not as not in as good a shape as the other ones. Still pretty nice though. But on the back, it has this die crack here. It has one here, which goes all the way up to the rim, and then it also has one. If I can find it now, right there. It goes from the bottom of the branch all the way through the O. And I could probably sell this for $6, but people collect all the little errors. Um, and that's what I do it for. I could put them, on eBay, um, and sell them, but you know, what I really want to do is give them away to people who collect them, um, to help, keep the interest going for coin collecting, and to find anything, you know, regardless of whether it's a die chip or a die crack, or lamination, or missing letters, you know, uh, it's pretty exciting when you're going through rolls and you're not finding any major things. Not to mention the guy at Variety Vista, he's really pretty nice. Um, it's $10 a coin, no matter what, but he will look at them, and if it's legit, he will attribute it, and he will put your name on it. So, and this one's a little bit more beat up. I'm not really seeing anything on this one. Still a nicer quarter. I mean, it's 1994. It's been in circulation for, what is it, 94, 2004, 2014, almost 30 years. So, um, to come across a stack like this that looks this nice, I think it's worth taking a chance if you find some really nice ones, to send them in. Um, what's the worst? You spend, 30, $40. You get a decent grade on it, and you've got one in a slab. See, there's a die crack right there. Um, you spend 20, $30, $40, whatever it is, and you've got one in a slab that might be worth 100. So if you ever decide to sell it, you're making $60 off of it. I don't know if you can I think that's just the clad layer coming off underneath his eye. But I found a couple of them that looked like pretty big teardrops, and I thought that was pretty cool. Um, so this one has that die crack on the obverse. There's a die chip. Die chip is extra metal that probably shouldn't be there, more than likely. Um, and what adds the value is the places that you can locate them sometimes. I know you've all seen the newer quarters with the wart on the end of his nose. They've got some that are closer down to the bottom, booger tips, whatever you want to call them. I found one and a couple of them that are right on his earlobe, and I call it a pierced ear. But you don't see now these are sometimes when I see stuff like this, it almost looks like there's something else going on back there. See that? I don't know. I might have to take a couple pictures of this one and send it to somebody to look at because that's pretty cool. Um, it looks like there's something back there right here. I'm still trying to get used to this scope, so bear with me. Yeah, see that? That looks like real doubling on that R. There's no attributes on Variety Vista, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier for any of the 1994 quarters. PD, I think there's an S. I think S is the only one that has them, but P&Ds, there's no attributions on. No, if I can zoom that in now, is that that could be a die crack. What is that? What's that one? A spiked head error. See now, there's a piece of metal. It shouldn't be there, but it's in the field. It's not really in a cool spot. There's one that's close to being, that might be damaged. If there's anything I can do to improve my videos, um, please leave a comment down there too. I know I'm not on the best of phones. Um, and sometimes the volume is a little low. So I try to do it. Once the video is shot, obviously I can't do anything about it. So I got to put subtitles on so everybody can understand what's going on. And I apologize about that. Like I said, I'm still kind of new to this. I don't have a ton of videos out yet. I only have a handful of subscribers, which is fine. Um, it'd be nice to have more, but that'll come soon enough, I guess. See, it's real easy to get confused on this machine doubling. If it was truly doubling, you'd see it at the tops. Um, it'd be the whole coin and not just, I mean, it'd be the whole letters and not just little pieces of it. Especially on the S's. Apologize for the coughing. Had a pretty rough go with things with COVID and lung, and I have asthma, and smoke, so I've got a couple strikes against me already. And I've had pneumonia and I've had influenza and then I got COVID, then I got pneumonia again, and lungs haven't quite fully uh, recovered, if you will. Now, also on these quarters, you can look for repunched mitt marks. So there are repunched mitt marks on a lot of these quarters pre the eagle back quarters, I should say. Um, it almost looks like doubling right there on that stem. I don't see anything else going on anywhere. And because I'm new at this, I like to look at the whole coin. And you should anyway. When you're penny hunting, um, you should look at everything. I mean, don't just look at the letters and the mint marks, because there could be errors in the fields, on the buildings. I mean, that looks like doubling. But it's so because there's no pictures to look at of. I mean, you should know what doubling looks like, but it could be tricky. It could be a machine doubling thing, you know, that most people would think, but it's actually doubling. Like you see how thick that E is on the top. I mean, could be could be anything. Here we go. See, now that is not normal. Not sure what to call that. Die crack or die deterioration. It looks like it was getting pretty worn down in that area. I have big fingers, guys, so there's a die chip and a die crack right on the O. See? Take a picture of that. And there's doubling on the leaf right there. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the doubling on the leaf right there. Maybe I can zoom it in and see. Could have just been a shadow, but that's definitely doubling. It could be machine doubling, but it looks like almost a full doubled leaf almost. The die crack is pretty cool though. Um, and here's another piece of a die crack. Just follow it up and see if there's anything else. This is one that I can slab up. That's pretty cool. That's a die crack. Okay. Like I said, the big thing on these coins that I'm really looking for is what can I find condition wise. Can I find a really nice one or two that I'd be willing to take a chance on to send in and get graded. Um, and they're pretty nicked up. Some of them look good in hand, nice and shiny. I believe a couple of them that I have are probably cleaned, but these aren't cleaned. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd get maybe XF on this one, but unless I find a really major error and could, possibly get it attributed somewhere, this one just a nice quarter. Yeah, just leave it. Yeah, just make sure you leave it in the comments. Um, if you see something that I miss, or if I can do something to make my videos a little better. I don't have a GoPro. Um, maybe with a tripod, it would make it a little bit better. I got it. I have a tripod coming. I wanted one with a microphone on it, so I don't have to rely on the phone's microphone because it apparently is. See, that could be doubling on the face, but it's in one spot, so I'm gonna chalk that one up to just machine. Let me know what you guys like to collect. I mean, obviously the major errors and silver, but do you guys like collecting um, the smaller errors? Doubled leaves like here in this picture. That's a doubled leaf. Um, where's my? That's some possible doubling here on this leaf, as well as on the stem. And then there's some doubling going on here. And then look here, another die crack. So this die, the die cracks that I'm finding, this die must have been at the end of its life here. I mean, I'd imagine so. There's so many so many were printed. Now this is the second one I found like this. And it could be, but even in the shadow you can still see it right there. I don't know what that is. If we find a die crack on the back, then I guess we'll know. But here's another, could be doubled mint mark. Let me back it up just a little bit and see. It looks double to me. Get a little closer here. That looks double. I could be wrong. I'll take a picture of it. Keep on looking. We'll flip this one over and see what we got on the back here, see if we got any surprises. I should have some music playing, but I haven't quite figured out how to, because of the microphone issues, I haven't quite figured out how to, put a light music in the background. And see, this one doesn't have any die cracks or doubling on any of the leaves. So they must have either before the die got wore out or they switched it. So that's pretty cool. So that's all the Denvers that I found. Of course, we found these. We'll have a recap of a couple of the things that we found. Um, but we'll move on to the P's. Give me a second, and I'll be right back. Okay. So I got those quarters put away. I got those two uh, quarters that we found slabbed up with the die cracks and the one possible DDR that someone might like. And we're going to move on to the D mint marks, which were struck almost the same amount of number. I'd say, let me turn some light on here. I'd say 850 million, somewhere around there. And not in quite as, or actually in a little bit better. They were struck in a little bit better condition. Um, and just in case you're wondering, the proof coins that they make, both the clad and the silver, don't fetch anywhere near as much as the regular business strike quarters if you find them in really nice condition, because they're expected to be that. So, I mean, I think I seen one that sold in a deep cameo 70, both the clad and the silver, and the unclad or the clad one sold for like $15, and the silver one sold for 50, I think. And it was the highest grade on a proof that you could find. Um, but yeah, and that's because they're expected. So, and like I said, there are repunched mint marks that you can look for. Um, I personally like finding all the weird errors. Um, like this could be extra thick eyebrow there, but it's all in the eye of the beholder, pun intended. There's some dye chips on the eyes. Um, not really much going on this one. These are the Denver ones that I found also mixed up in the rolls. Um, and because these are struck in a little bit better condition than the Philly did, we may not find die die cracks and whatnot. Still fun if you can find the time. So, and there are some nice ones in there. That one's a really nice one. I'm not thinking that any of these I could submit to get an MS 60 or better, but you never know. You could catch them on a good day, and turn this flashlight off now. There we go. Not much going on here. A little bit of slop going on around the eye. Um, and I haven't seen much doubling as far as what you would normally, expect to see if there were doubling errors. Um, but you never know. Uh, I found a nickel that was in pretty rough shape, but it was dye deterioration. It is a hot mess. I can tell you that. Uh, so here's some extra something going on here. Oh, that's just feathers. I'm not expecting to find a bunch on the Denvers. Um, this is one of the nicer ones that I found. Obviously, it's got the zinc bubbles going on. So, but that is clear doubling right there on the lip and the chin, or it could be some extra zinc built up. That looks like doubling to me, but I will take a picture of it. That looks like doubling. but I don't see. I mean, you won't always see split serifs, but there is a line in the G. So I'm going to take a picture of that. Jump over here to the mint mark. Just take a quick peek. I don't see much. I don't see much else that could be. You know, there's some chatter marks. Remember, these are circulated. And this is, I mean, this is probably one of the nicer ones of the pretty much the roll that I found. Um, I might, Rob may disagree with me if I ask him, but I may find a nice day to submit this one and see what I get. But I don't see much going on as far as errors, but that is a nicer coin for sure. And I know I should be wearing gloves just in case I don't have any. Um, that's a scratch.